Okay, so yesterday I taught you what's the class. Inside the class, we can define the variable, we can create function, okay, and we can create the constructor, okay, and we can call it. Now, what I'm doing, I'm going to tell you method, okay, method, or you can say function. So basically, we have two types of method. So there are two types of method which we use in Apex class. Okay, first one is static, second one is non-static. So now we will understand what is static, what is non-static. Okay, so first I'm going to create one class. Okay, and inside the class I'm going to define some variable. So public string my name, public, then we have to write data type. So first I'll ask one question when we will write a data type. Okay, if you are writing any data type like string, integer, list of account, set of account, and you are using map, which naming convention you will follow? How you will
Lower
write
camel.
data type according to Misraji lower case? Okay, any other?
So for data type, we will use upper chemicals.
According to Preeti ma'am, upper camel. मैम आप केस मत लगा को, मतलब अपर केमिल अलग होता है, अपर केस अलग होता है।
Okay.
ठीक है, अपर केमिल नेमिंग कन्वेंशन। ठीक है, आप कितने प्रीति मैम की तरफ हैं, कितने आदित्य की तरफ? मुकुल, विच नेमिंग कन्वेंशन?
Lower camel, sir.
लोअर कैमिल सैंकी के अकॉर्डिंग।
लोअर कैमल।
है ना मैम?
Uh, yes, sir.
Which any idea which naming convention we will follow when we will write the data type?
Lower camel.
Lower camel. Okay, Mukta.
Don't know.
Okay.
So your voice is breaking for me. You were asking for string
Yeah.
data type?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. If we will write a string, integer, any data type, so which naming convention we will follow?
Okay. I think upper camel we will use.
स्ट्रिंग में तो अपर ही होएगा, अपर कैमल।
Chan,
S will be capital and other will be small.
Ruji, Sarma ji,
Yeah, yes, sir.
which
So we
name?
are using for the primitive being the lowercase, and I think
I think. Okay.
yes, I'm not sure.
Okay. For Java, I'm not sure which naming convention we will follow, but in Apex class, whenever you will use the data type, whenever you will use the data type, you have to use upper camel. ठीक है, लाइक दैट यू हैव टू राइट। पहला लेटर कैपिटल से स्टार्ट होना चाहिए। ठीक है, इफ यू विल राइट लाइक दैट, इट्स नॉट अ गुड अप्रोच। It's not a good approach, you have to write like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, we are talking about the data types. So, like the int float, they are also the data types, but they are in the
In
lower
Apex
case.
class, in Apex class, I'm saying,
They are
I'm not.
they are using uppercase in Apex, upper camel case. Is it, sir?
Sharma
Yes,
ji, in Apex class,
Apex is
there
a
is
no
no,
float.
yeah,
Float.
there is no
Okay.
int and float, but in C we have int these things. Here simply
Yeah,
write
yeah.
integer, complete name, integer.
Okay. Sure, sure.
Okay.
Decimal is the place of float.
ठीक है, जो भी मैंने वेरिएबल के नेम लिखे हैं उनका नेमिंग कन्वेंशन सही है या कुछ एरर है?
Absolute correct.
करेक्ट है। कौन सा नेमिंग कन्वेंशन यूज करना था हमें जब वेरिएबल डिफाइन करेंगे?
Lower camel.
या सो वी आर फॉलोइंग लोअर कैमल. Okay, lower camel we are following, so all are correct. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm going to print it, system.debug. Okay, so I have declared the variable. Now I'm going to print it. So I have written one
Sir,
statement.
I think in system should also in uppercase.
Yeah, so ma'am, you have to say upper camel instead of
Upper
uppercase.
camel, not
Yeah, yes,
uppercase.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
अपर केस में मैम सारे कैपिटल में हो जाते हैं.
Upper camel.
Yeah. So which statement I have written, it's not a correct. If we will follow good approach as a developer, it's not a correct. Okay. If you will deploy this code in production environment, it's a not good way to write the code. What you have to do, you have to write in upper camel because system it's a predefined class. Now I am going to save it. Okay, now this code is correct. So whatever I will write in single quote, it will print. Say as it is, it will print in console screen. After that, if you want to print the value of any variable, that time you will use plus variable name. Okay. So I want to print the value of four variable. So I've written four variable. Now what I'm doing, it is inside the constructor. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to call the constructor. So what I will write in anonymous window,
Word class and any variable PC equals, equals to new word class function.
okay.
Semicolon.
So new third class, we have created one memory for class third, that is the name of TC. Okay. Which type of data we can store? All third class data we can store in TC variable, and we have created one memory. Okay. And third class is the constructor. When we will execute, automatically constructor will execute if you have not created any constructor. ठीक है, अगर कोई constructor है नहीं and I'm writing this code. So what will happen? Automatically by default one constructor will create and that will execute. Okay, whenever you will create the memory, constructor will automatically create if you have not created and it will execute. Okay, but now I have created constructor, so that constructor will execute. Now I'm going to click on execute button. So if I'll click on execute button, what will happen? Code will execute or not, or
No,
I'll
sir.
get any error message.
Get error message.
Okay, according to Aditya Misra, I'll get error message. Sarma ji, kuch idea?
No, sir, there is no error.
Okay, according to Tushar, code will execute. This I will not get any error message. Okay, Mukta,
I think no error, sir.
according to Sankey, no error. Mukta,
एरर मैसेज
according to Mukul, error. दो बोट एरर के लिए दो नहीं.
बिकॉज सेव नहीं करा
Correct.
लो यार सेव कर देते हैं.
So that's not the condition. Like save नहीं किया. We are
नहीं, but in Apex, you must be saved
ठीक है,
after
I
that.
have saved it now. Now it will execute or not?
Not sir, we didn't give any value. We just defined a variable.
Okay,
Can't
Mukta
pass any value.
एग्जीक्यूट कर देगा.
एग्जीक्यूट कर देगा. ठीक है, प्रीति मैम.
Will execute.
भैया जैन.
सर बट हमने तो ओनली इंस्टेंस ही तो क्रिएट किया है इसमें. कैसे कॉल हो गया?
To call the constructor, we only need to create instance. उसके अलावा तो क्या ही करेंगे?
ठीक है, अगर मैं इसको एग्जीक्यूट करता हूँ ये एग्जीक्यूट होएगा या नहीं? ठीक है, आधे बोल मतलब दो बोट आई है, शायद नहीं होएगा एग्जीक्यूट. ठीक है, जो बोल रहे हैं कि एग्जीक्यूट होएगा, तो माई नेम, माई ईमेल, माई सैलरी में क्या आएगा? क्या इनकी जगह क्या वैल्यू आएगी अगर ये एग्जीक्यूट
नल
होगा?
आएगा.
Null, null.
नल आएगा, खाली आएंगे.
या so if you will not assign any value and you will execute it, so what you will get null value. Code will execute but you will get null value. There is no data in this variable. Okay, if you have not assigned any value, code will execute and you will get null value. Okay, you will not get any error, you will not get runtime error. ठीक है, now what I'm doing, I'm assigning the value.
So what if I not created a constructor, so the output will be same or different?
कंस्ट्रक्टर अगर हम क्रिएट नहीं करेंगे, फिर डिबग वाला लॉजिक कहाँ लिखोगे? फिर यू विल राइट इट.
नहीं सर, अभी आप बोले कि अगर हम कंस्ट्रक्टर भी क्रिएट नहीं करेंगे और हमने इंस्टेंस
हाँ,
बना लिया तो वो ऑटोमेटिक क्रिएट करके
कंस्ट्रक्टर
रिलोड
क्रिएट होता है
करेगा.
लेकिन वो प्रिंट क्यों करेगा? प्रिंट नहीं करेगा ना वो.
कंस्ट्रक्टर इज क्रिएटेड बट ये जो लाइन है 10 to 14 ये
हाँ,
नहीं आएगी.
फिर ये
वो
होएगा.
बस जस्ट कॉल कर लेगा. हाँ, ब्लैंक स्क्रीन
हाँ,
आएगी उनकी. इट इज
ठीक है. तो so what I'm doing now, I'm going to create one method, public void first method. Okay, and I'm going to print the value system.debug inside first method. System.debug site constructor. Okay, so I have created one class. Inside the class, there are four variable. So which type of variable is it? It's the local or global variable. These are the local variable and global variable.
Local.
Local, according to Mukta, these are the local variable. Preeti ma'am, these are the local variable and global variable.
सर
These
मुझे तो
are
कुछ ही नहीं
global
समझ
variables.
नहीं आया है।
No, sir,
Yes,
global. I know.
yes, Chen sir.
These are global variables.
Yes, yes, Preeti ma'am.
सर मतलब ग्लोबल कैसे, जैसे अभी इन मेथड्स को हम आई मीन ये जो पब्लिक स्ट्रिंग नेम है इनको हम किसी भी मेथड में यूज कर सकते हैं, उस अकॉर्डिंग तो ग्लोबल है। और बाकी आप किस वे में पूछ रहे हो मुझे नहीं पता।
नहीं मतलब जो भी वेरिएबल होते हैं ना, वेरिएबल दो तरह के होते हैं, लोकल वेरिएबल, ग्लोबल वेरिएबल।
सर मुझे नहीं
तो
पता फिर इसके बारे में।
ठीक है, हमें क्या करना है, इफ यू वांट टू आइडेंटिफाई द वेरिएबल, which type of variable it is, okay, so we have to check the scope. So there's it's the scope of the class. Okay, there's one scope, there is the second scope, third class, and third scope which is first method scope. ठीक है, ये तो पता है आपको कि अगर मैं यहाँ
हाँ
लिखता हूँ कुछ सिंबल।
सर इन सब मेथड्स के लिए तो ग्लोबल है वो।
हाँ, अगर मैंने ये जो लिखा है ना, ओपन एंड क्लोज पैरेंथेसिस, इसको बोलते हैं हम फंक्शन ब्रेसिस। ठीक है, अगर हमने ये लिखा है, इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे टेक्निकल टर्म में, स्कोप। ठीक है, तो हमें स्कोप चेक करने हैं, स्कोप के अकॉर्डिंग हम बताते हैं कि ये क्या है। ठीक है, कौन सा ग्लोबल वेरिएबल। तो ये थर्ड क्लास और फर्स्ट मेथड के लिए, अगर इफ वी विल चेक फॉर थर्ड क्लास स्कोप एंड फर्स्ट मेथड स्कोप, दीज आर द ग्लोबल वेरिएबल। ओके, and if I'll create one, you can say variable.
यस देन फॉर दिस इट इज अ लोकल वेरिएबल।
Yeah, that time it's the local variable. Okay, for this scope it's the local variable. So what will be the definition? If you are defining the variable inside the scope, these are the local, and if you are defining the variable outside the scope, these are the global variable. ठीक है, अब इसमें भी बहुत सारे वे हैं। केस, ठीक है, scope, where we can use the scope, when you will define the class, that time you will use the scope. When you will define the method, that time you will also use the scope. Okay, when you will use any condition like if condition, that time you will also use the scope. And if you are using any loop, that time you will also use the scope. ठीक है, चार जगह हम स्कोप का यूज करते हैं। ओके, so let's suppose if you need the definition of local and global variable, you can take the screenshot from here. Okay, if you know it's good, if you don't know, you can take the screenshot from here. Okay, so it's the example one. It's I'm starting scope from here, and they are two variable age and name, and here they are one variable place, and I'm assigning the value. So here age and name are the global variable, and place is the local variable. Okay, if we have two scope, ठीक है, एग्जाम्पल टू में बताओ कि कितने ग्लोबल वेरिएबल हैं, कितने लोकल वेरिएबल हैं।
Two are global variable and four are local variable.
ठीक है, according to Aditya, they are two global variable and they are four local variable. ठीक है,
I'm agree with Aditya, sir.
Preeti ma'am is also agree with Aditya. Okay. Any other जो कुछ कहना चाहता है यहाँ पर?
So type of variable depend on which scope you want to check, for first
Yeah,
scope or second scope.
yeah. So ma'am is saying कि कोरांशु आपका क्वेश्चन अधूरा है, अकॉर्डिंग टू हिना मैम, कि मेरा क्वेश्चन अधूरा है, कि क्वेश्चन को पूरा कंप्लीट करो, देन वी विल से इट्स हाउ मैनी ग्लोबल वेरिएबल्स आर इन दिस एग्जाम। ठीक है। अब वो आदित्य और प्रीति मैम ने बोला कि दो ग्लोबल वेरिएबल है। ठीक है। अब मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है कि सेकंड स्कोप है हमारे पास। ठीक है। सेकंड स्कोप के लिए मुझे चेक करना है कि कितने ग्लोबल वेरिएबल।
Four.
So for second scope, there are four global variable and two local variable. And if I am asking for first scope, how many are global variable? So there are two global variable. There are two global variable for first scope and four are local. But for second scope, there are four global variable and two are local. ठीक है। तो ग्लोबल और लोकल इस पे
Sir, I
डिपेंड।
haven't understood.
ठीक है। किस पे डिपेंड करते हैं? स्कोप पे। अगर सी लैंग्वेज का इंटरव्यू दोगे तो बहुत क्वेश्चन पूछ जाता है इंटरव्यू। ठीक है। अब जो मैंने 10 लाइन, सॉरी, लाइन नंबर 10 से 15 तक जो कोड लिखा है वो करेक्ट है या कुछ एरर है?
Not correct, sir.
इट्स नॉट करेक्ट। ओके। इफ इट इज नॉट करेक्ट, वेयर इज द एरर?
Other than string, we do not use quote.
ओके।
The error is the data type you are using in my salary is decimal. Are assigning string, so it's showing error. The my age also is data type is integer. You using string.
Okay, so what's the error? I am using code which we I have not to use. So I'm removing the code. Now again I'm going to save. So for string we will use only code. We will not use, means for string that variable we will use code. For other variable we will not use the, you can say code. So now it's the correct. Okay. Now what I'm doing?
Sir, I have one question, sir. Can I ask?
Yes, sure.
Sir, in constructor you are using upper camel, but in this second means method you're using lower camel. I just confused. In constructor use always upper camel
देखो कंस्ट्रक्टर में क्लास का नेम ही लिखोगे ना आप। कंस्ट्रक्टर मीन्स
because we
सेम
follow the class.
क्लास नेम नेमिंग कन्वेंशन।
Okay, sir.
ओके। ओके। So second, what I'm doing in constructor, I have also assigned the value. Now I'm gonna assign the value in method. Okay, so I have created method also. So in method, I am also assigning the, now what I'm doing, I'm going to print this value on console screen. I'm going to print these value on console screen. So how we will print it? So we will create the instance for the class. Okay, so I'm going to create one instance for the class. So we have already created one instance TC. Okay, so means we have created the memory. Okay, so when you will create the instance for the class, what will happen? Automatically constructor will execute. Okay, so line number 23, code will execute. Okay, now what I want to execute the code of first method also. So we will check which type of method is it. It is the static or non-static. Okay, if I'll write static, so it's a static method. If we will not write static, so it's a non-static method. Okay, so I have not written static here, so it's a non-static method. How we will call non-static method? We write reference variable name. Okay, dot method name. We will write reference variable name dot method name. Now I'm gonna save it and I'm going to click on execute button. So when I will click on execute button, I'll get the data on console screen. Click on debug only. So inside constructor, employee name Koransu Sani, employee email Koransu at sani.com, salary, age, first method. Okay, I'm getting the name information. Mark, at mark.com, salary, age, these things. So which data I want to print, I'm able to print it. Okay, on console screen. So do you have any doubt till here? किसी कोई डाउट अभी तक?
Yes, sir. Sir, if we write static, so the
Don't,
execute normal
just,
function.
yeah, don't ask me static and non-static things. I have not taught yet. Okay, I'll teach you after that. So when your doubt will clear. Okay, I'll teach you the difference between static and non-static. Any other question?
No, sir.
Okay, other student, other participants, do you have any query which you want to ask?
No, sir.
Good. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm going, now we are printing this data on console screen. Okay, on console screen we are printing it. Console screen, why we use to check the output, to check the data. Okay, तो चेक करने के लिए हम कंसोल स्क्रीन का यूज करते हैं, बट वी आर नॉट प्रिंटिंग इट ऑन द यूआई विच कस्टमर विल व्यू. ठीक है, विच क्लाइंट विल व्यू, वेयर क्लाइंट विल व्यू द डेटा. We are not printing the data on that screen. We are printing it on console screen. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to print the information on client screen. Okay, so how can we print it? So if you want to print the data and if you want to view the data on any screen and on the client screen, that time you will use visual force page. Okay, so I'm going to create one page, third page, clicking on OK button. ठीक है, so how can we create Visual Force page? Click on Setup, Developer Console, File, New, then select Visual Force page, write any Visual Force page name, then click on Save button. So I've written third page. Now what I want to print the data. Okay, I want to print the data. So I'm removing the div. Okay, so I have used so by default what I'm getting apex page. What is it? It's the root tag of visual force page. It's the root tag of visual force page. So all the tags which you will use in visual force page, so it should be inside the apex page tab. ठीक है, जितने भी टैग आप यूज करोगे विजुअल फोर्स पेज में वो सारे apex पेज के अंदर ही होने चाहिए. इट्स द रूट टैग. Okay, fine. So what I'm doing inside the apex page, I'm going to use some HTML tag. So I have used p. So from here we are it's the open tag and it's the close tag. ठीक है, एंगुलर ब्रैकेट है ये, एंगुलर p then close, angular v. So it's the open tag and then angular slash p. It's the close tag. What is the meaning of p? Means whatever you will write inside the v, it will vault. Okay, so I'm writing employee name. Employee name, email, salary is, email, salary age. Okay, so whatever you will write in apex page or you can see in visual force page, what will happen automatically you will get the output. Okay, so I've written employee name, email, salary, age, and here you can see we have one button, preview button. So if you want to preview the data, if you want to view the data whatever you have written in visual force page, so you have to click on preview button. Okay, you have to click on preview button, you can preview it. So I'm gonna click on preview button. So when I'll click on the preview button, I'll get the data. So here you can see I'm getting employee name, then employee email, employee salary, employee age. So all the information I'm getting in one line. Okay, so I'm not happy with this. I want to break the line. So if you want to break the line, so what you can do, you can use PR tab. Okay, so we are using PR tag to break the line. Now again, I'm gonna save it and I'm going to check it. I'm able to break it or not. Yeah, so I'm able to break it. Okay, so you can use PR tag to break it. If you want to use two BR tag, you can use two BR tag. You will get good UI. Again, I'm going to refresh it. I'm getting good UI. Okay, so it's up to you. Now, what I want to print the data of the class. I want to call the class. Okay, I want to call the class in Visual Force page. So yesterday I told you means MVC of Visual Force page. So if you want to view the data and if you want to show the data to the client on Visual Force page, so you will use class as a controller. Okay, so how you will use the class in Visual Force page, how you can call it. So if you want to call the class in Visual Force page, you will write attribute, one attribute, that is controller. Controller is equal to class name. Okay, controller is equal to class name. So it's a good way to call the class. Okay, it's a way to call the class in Visual Force page. Okay, now again I'm click on preview button. I'll check the data, I'll check the output. I'm not getting any output. Okay, so employee name, what you can do, you can write dummy data. If you want to write dummy data, so whatever you will write, it will print. So I am written Quran, sending Quran at gmail.com. Salary age, it's coming. Okay, so it's a way to create the Visual Force page. In Visual Force page, you can use some HTML tag, and whatever you will write in Visual Force page, okay, it will print like that. And if you want to call the class in Visual Force page, so you will use one, you can say one attribute. Controller, it's the attribute of Apex page. Controller is the attribute of Apex page. So you can use the attribute of Apex page. ठीक है, किसी को कोई डाउट यहाँ तक? या गुड. सैंकी.
सर एक बार ये क्लास वाला बता दो दोबारा. ये तो समझ आ गया एपेक्स पेज का, विजुअल फोर्स पेज का, कंट्रोलर वाला पार्ट.
ठीक है, ठीक है मैं बता दूंगा. ठीक है, वी हैव क्रिएटेड वन क्लास. Okay, in class what we will do, we will write the logic. Now what we have to do, we have created UI. How we